So I finally reached my breaking point of using Next.js, and I'm starting to investigate other alternative frameworks I could potentially use. In the game I've been working on, I am using Remix, or I guess it's called React Router 7, for the web application, like the website view of the game. And then I'm also looking into TanStack Start because I did some research and people say that this is actually much better to use because of the type safety with the router and all these other benefits. So that's what we're going to be exploring in this video. I want to spin up a really basic TanStack Start application. And so what TanStack is, it's a collection of libraries that you can use, created by and maintained by Tanner Lindsay. So go follow him. He's a really good developer. He makes all these great tools. But TanStack Start is like his solution for a full stack meta framework, I guess you could say. And is built on top of TanStack Router, which is a really nice type safe router. So at the very least, if you don't want to use TanStack Start, which is still in beta, TanStack Router is actually really great. It has all this type safety built into it. When you make a new route in your code, it tells you if you need to pass in a special parameter in the URL or not. But let's just go ahead and spin up a new project using TanStack Start. I've already followed the quick start guide. I set up this basic project, and they have a bunch of different things you can kind of start with. You could do a start basic. You could do one that has some auth built into it. They have one that's built into Convex. Look at that. You can see down here, I have this running locally. You just do a npm run dev, and that's going to spin up your application. And then we can go ahead and just look at the code here. And here it is. They probably should have worked on the styling a little bit to make it more appealing, but I guess they're trying to keep it as minimal as possible. So you got like a page where you can do incremental counter. You got, do not exist routes. You got posts, and you click on a post. You can go to the deep view of the post. And by the way, this all works with like JavaScript turned off. So if I were to disable JavaScript and refresh this page, notice that the application still works as you'd expected because it's using server-side rendering on all of these URL endpoints, which is really good if you want to do like search engine optimization, etc. Okay. So if you're a good engineer, you should probably read through the documentation and try to understand what's going on. But if you're me, let's just go ahead and dive through the code because it's a lot more enjoyable to do that. So here is the starting point of that command. You'll get a project that has Tailwind set up already and has a run dev command. Now, this uses something called Vinci behind the hood. I don't know. I guess it's some library that's built on top of Vite, and I'm guessing it enables some type of server-side rendering or whatnot. I don't know. I didn't really look into it. Probably should. But let's look at the actual code. So we have this app directory, and we have a router folder. So we should probably look at that router file to understand how this is working. So the way TanStack Router works is you can basically create a router using this import, and then you give it a route tree. But it turns out the route tree, I guess it's generated automatically whenever you make new routes. Okay, so all this stuff is generated, and I think this is what's enabling the type safety between your routes and your code. So for example, what do I mean by the type safety? Let's look at any page. Let's go to the post page here. And you'll see, if I were to go ahead and just like get rid of this, let's do a 2, and then we're going to get a drop down of all the different endpoints we can kind of hit. So this is nice. Like you don't get this in Next.js, you don't get this in other things. Like I don't think this is in Remix, where every single route in your application has a IntelliSense dropdown that tells you, like you have the type safety built into it. And this is great if you're a big TypeScript person, or if you like when your IDE actually helps you code, which I don't know why you wouldn't. This is pretty nice. So also looks like we can do something called params. So let me show you this. If you do params and pass that an object, look at that. We get type safety for what we need to pass in. This endpoint needs a post ID. So we could just go ahead and pass it in like that. And you get type safety with all your routes. So if that's not a good enough selling point to you, I don't know what else I can convince you with, because that's good enough to switch over to it, honestly. And so what this post ID is, if I were to go to the posts here and click on any of these, here's the post. We have some nested layout. So I'm going to go ahead and just try to create a route myself. Again, I want to experiment with TanStack Start to see if I understand it. And hopefully you guys can learn from me experimenting. So I want to make a new route. Let's just make a route called like testing. So I'm going to make one called testing.tsx. And I'm curious if I actually need to put .index here. It seems like index is typically used for like the initial load state or anything that has a money sign. But let's just go ahead and make a route here. And the way you make a route is you have to basically bring in this create file route. You give it the URL that you want to use for rendering out this component, and then you pass it the component here. Okay. And so just by doing that, I think what's going to happen is there's this route tree, and I bet you if I look for test, I bet you it's going to show up here. Okay, so automatically this file gets updated and we have this new testing route, which is using this code, and the type safety is already set up. So if I were to go here and just type in testing, notice that it goes to hello testing. So pretty interesting way to create a new route. Now, something that's kind of interesting is that whatever you put here, it actually has to match like the path of your file. So if you were to go here and just put like whatever you want at the end and save it, notice how when Vite kind of reruns, it modifies your code and strips off that. So it's kind of like forcing your files to match whatever path that you have, which is kind of interesting. Now, the way that you do deeply nested files, this is similar to like Remix or React Router 7 with the server-side rendering framework hooked in. Same idea. If you go over here and just like kind of put some stuff here and save it, it automatically fixes that. Anyway, we have a new route. What I also want to do is let's figure out the outlets. So typically when you're building out an application, you'll have like this ability to do stuff like a layout in Next.js. In this case, we have like an outlet, I believe. So let's dive into this post page and understand how it works. Let's go to posts, and then let's scroll through here. We have all the code. It renders over all the posts here. And then finally down here, we have an outlet. So the way this outlet works for me just looking at the code is I think if you were to go to the top level post, notice that it says select the post. The default that it's going to use is post.index. So I think it's kind of taking this index and putting it in place of this. If you look at this index page, this is where that default thing is defined. And if you go over here and refresh, you'll see that it shows up. All right. So if we, for example, wanted a nested outlet for testing, I could just go ahead and make another one. I'll say testing, and we'll do a @ symbol, and I'll say like ID. And then we're going to go ahead and just like go over here, do $ID, and that should save up good. And then if we wanted to have like a layout here, so let's just say like, I don't know, we could select navigation, and then we'll have like an outlet like this. Go ahead and import the outlet from TanStack router. Now I think whatever I put here, like I could potentially just render out the props. Now, one thing I want to figure out is how do I get the ID? So if I want to render out this ID, I'm not really sure how to do that. I'm going to look at this one and try to figure out how it does it. So it looks like you have to do route.useLoaderData to get the post. And the post over here is using a loader function. So let's try to mimic this to make sure we understand what's going on. So I'm going to grab this internal here, and then we're going to put it over here. So we're going to go ahead and just say like testing component like that. And then looks like we need like an error component or something. I'll just go ahead and say this, the testing error component. Import that one, make sure we auto import everything. Okay, so if you wanted to do some type of server-side rendering, it looks like you'd have to use this loader here, and then that gives you access to the parameters that are in the URL, and then you can fetch data or do whatever you want on the server side before you send those props to the component. Now, if you want to get access to that data, so for example, instead of fetch post here, if I just return like message, hello world, please subscribe. Okay, let's just save that and see if this is going to work for us. I'll call this an ID. And I should probably fix my indentation. Okay, so let's put the ID here like this, just to see if this works. And then over here, we can grab that and say const message is equal to use loader data, and then I'll just render that out. All right, let's test this out. I'm gonna go to testing, and then I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, and then it prints out hello world, please subscribe 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we successfully gotten the information from the URL and we put it over here. Now I am curious if you didn't want to use server-side rendering, because right now if I were to like turn off JavaScript, I think this would still all work perfectly fine. So let's disable it, refresh the page, notice that everything still loads, which is good. But if I didn't want to use server-side rendering, I'm curious how I would achieve that. So like, how would I even get this ID here? So let's go back to the TanStack router docs, because I don't even know how to do that. Okay, we got path params down here, and it looks like you could potentially, okay, I just demoed the loader thing, which is not what we want. I'm wondering if in the component itself, route.useParam. So yeah, let's say you didn't want the server-side rendering stuff. You could just not use the loader, not use the not found stuff, and I can simply just pull in the message directly from, actually, and this needs to be ID, and then technically I could just like hard code the ID right there. So let's test this out and see if this works. Go back to the app, refresh, and it prints out 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you have the option to do like the traditional server-side rendering, or if you just want to do a client component. Now, honestly, I don't know if this will work if JavaScript's disabled now. Let's disable JavaScript and refresh the page. Somehow this still manages to load. So I guess they're doing some type of like initial rendering. Now this is still doing server-side rendering, I believe. But the idea is that even with JavaScript turned off, I think it still runs this through once on the back end. And then it probably hydrates the front end with some type of like functionality. Like, so for example, if I wanted to bring in a counter, let me just try use state and let's see how this kind of works. I'm going to set it as 0 like this, and then we're going to go ahead and just make this a button. Let's make sure this still works because again, like in Next.js to do stuff like this, you can't run it in a server component. You have to like make a client component and then you can start using the React hooks and on-click callbacks. I'm curious how this works in TanStack Start. So now I have JavaScript disabled, right? So even with JavaScript disabled, the page loads, we get the button, but like it's not going to actually do anything. But now I can increment the counter. This is pretty nice. Like, I'm not going to lie, this is a lot easier to understand instead of having to have all these separate files with like use server, use client at the top. I think this is pretty nice. Let's keep on investigating a little bit. There are ways to create API. So if you want to make a REST API directly here, you can do that. Again, you create a API file route. You give it whatever URL that you want. I'm guessing it has to match this convention. We could try just doing this, and yes, it does refresh. And you can define if it's a get or a post or a patch, whatever. Let's see what else you got here. Yeah, you got all these options. Very nice. Type safety good out of the box. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. Like create an API endpoint and you can use it. So one thing I'm curious about is, can you do server actions, like a type of server action with TanStack Start? And I need to figure that out. There's something called server functions. So that's probably what we're looking for. So if you can create a server function like this, let's just try this out. Create a server function, get user by ID. Somewhere else in your application, you can invoke it. It's curious. I'm curious. If I were to just put this here, let's just make that server function here. I'll go ahead and just move this up. We don't need Zod. We don't need the file system stuff. I went ahead and removed a lot of the code we didn't care about, but create server function. If I just define this directly in this file, and then in here I return like a message that says like hello world, I kind of wonder if I can just invoke this on my front end. So like what I mean by that, we could have like a message, and then we could say set message equals to use state. And then again, this is just traditional React. I could say use effect, and then we could go ahead and invoke it. Now this is what I'm not sure about. It's if I invoke this, hopefully this will be like a promise, which it is, and we should get a string back. And it should do a get request. Let me just go ahead and log out this data. I'm curious what we get here. Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna work. Again, I'm just playing around with the code. I didn't read through the actual the docs, because why would I do that? That's a waste of time, right? Play around with the code. That's where the fun part happens. Let's save this and go back to the application, go back here and save it. And notice that there is a little delay, but hello world comes over. Okay, so that shows up automatically. Now I'm curious, this must be all running on the front end, right? If I disable JavaScript again and then refresh the page, notice that hello world never shows up. So this is doing a network request when the page hits the client. And if you go to fetch XHR, you can see that it is doing that request, and you get back a hello world in the result. So again, server actions are built in to TanStack Start, and you don't have to do like this use server directive at the top of your file. It looks like you can just literally define a function wherever you want. Now, I'd be curious how the tree shaking works in terms of like exposing data. I'd have to read more about that. Like there was some clear boundaries in Next.js when you say use server at the top, that you know that like everything in there potentially, it needs to run server code, right? So now if I were to import like Prisma in this file and use Prisma here, would that leak over to the front end? I'm not really sure. I'd have to figure that out, but I'm guessing it knows how to not leak that over. But this by far is like great. Like this is really nice. I don't even know why we need method here. I'm guessing the method would be a get request by default. Let's just refresh and see. It looks like it did a get request. Now let's try to mutate. If I were to try to make a new function here, and this could be a method of post, and then we're going to say create user. And then down here, we'll simply just not do anything, but we're going to make a button. We'll say button, and then we're going to go ahead and say click me. And then on click, we're going to go ahead and just call that create user function, and we can send it some data. So I guess over here at the top, we could potentially just console log whatever data that we're getting, like this. All right, so I'm not sure how to get the type safety working right here. So create user is a function that we're defining. This should take in a message, and we do the message here. It's still complaining that hello world has no properties in common with this. So I do think you need to pass in like data. Okay, so data does need to exist, but I'm curious, like, how do we type this correctly? So data.message. It looks like you probably want to use a validator. So I think I just need to tack on before the handler, I do a validator here. And then I could actually change this to a string. And this will automatically make the types of the handler know that it takes in a message. Okay, I managed to get the TypeScript working. Basically, you have to attach a validator, and then whatever you pass in here, like this is your data object, right? And then here you could potentially say like a message is a string. And then you can run some validation logic using Zod or whatever to make sure that message actually is defined. And then whatever you return here is going to get inferred automatically inside your handler. So now here data will be message, okay. And down here we want to say message like this. So let's test this out. Let's go back to the UI and let's just click me and go to the console. And on the back end, that should invoke our remote server action, or I guess what it's called is the server function. And you can see that we get back data of hello world. So very nice. That's pretty convenient as well. You can call your backend endpoints and do some backend logic simply by just invoking your function, and that function can live right in the same file. Honestly, that might be enough information for an overview. I mean, there's like a lot of stuff I need to read through myself, but I'm kind of vibing with this framework. I think it's very good, and I think it has a lot of potential. And like I said, like I'm just kind of over Next.js. Like even at work a couple days ago, I spent a lot of time trying to debug an issue with the middleware function. And the longer I'm using Next, the more I realize that there's so many caveats you have to understand to even be productive with it. And I'm just not a fan of it anymore. And so I think TanStack Start has the most potential out of all the other things I've seen, especially with the nice type safety. Like out of the box, they're focusing on type safety, which is great. So I might actually spend time reading through all this information to make sure I understand it. And then I'll make a more thorough overview video maybe in a little bit. All right, but I hope you guys enjoyed this little overview. Kind of psyched about it. Looks pretty good, but go check it out for yourself and stay tuned because I think I'm going to switch my content to maybe use this a little bit more. All right, have a good day. Happy coding.